Hello, welcome to the 37th edition of Drive Through Review. This is a first in a two-part little series I'm doing. This one is Innovation, the next one will be Gosu or Gasu. Uh, these are two games that not really flying under the radar, so to speak. I think there's a fair amount of awareness about them at this point. Um, but they are two games that are sort of in the discussion, or it should be in the discussion with Race for the Galaxy and kind of San Juan and stuff, and Glory to Rome. Actually, playing Innovation quite a bit over the last couple weeks, months, um, caused me to purchase Glory to Rome. So I'm kind of doing it in reverse. So I got Innovation first, and then now the same guy that did Innovation did Glory to Rome. So I played that only once, Glory to Rome, and I liked it. But I like this one. I think it's better, but I haven't played Glory to Rome enough. Um, anyway, but this and Gosu are a game where there's a lot more interaction directly with the players than say like a race or San Juan or something. Um, the state of the board, as it were, um, is very important as far as what everybody's got in front of them and how that's going to drive your decisions. It's not very solitairish at all, really, in my opinion, either game. So I'm just going to go through how it works if you haven't seen how it works, and then come back and share my thoughts.
All right, so let me show you a little bit about how to play Innovation. Initially, you set up, you can see 10 piles here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to there. Now, your first few piles are going to be like basic beginning civilization, this is prehistory type of card. So you can see here a couple examples, sailing and writing, and those are some level 1s. Well, some level 10s might be the internet, software, stem cells, things like that. More modern day type of things. And this is the information age, is the 10th age. So you're going to set those up. You're going to take one from each of the stacks except for the 10 and lay them out in the middle. And these would be sort of like trophies that you're going to get. Each player is going to get a player mat, sort of like Glory to Rome. And it's got a summary of actions and a reference to some of what the keywords are in the cards, as well as a little bit of a strategy information there in the bottom of this card. And you'll put that in front of you. Then each player is going to start with 2 level 1 cards. And I cheated and I gave this player writing and sailing. I love sailing. That's my favorite card. So you can see these cards have different symbols. And this one's got like 2 light bulbs and a crown. This one has 2 crowns and a leaf. And these little hexagon symbols are nothing. They're sort of like their flavor text, so to speak. And then you've got abilities on the cards. Some cards will have multiple abilities. So each player is going to put face down one of their level 1 cards, and whoever has the lowest one in the alphabet will go first. So if these were the 2 cards, then sailing would go first because it comes first in the alphabet. And you flip that card up, and whoever has the lowest one is first, and then the first player will only get 1 action, or if in a 4-player game, the first 2 players only get 1 action. And then everybody else for the rest of the game is going to get 2 actions on a turn. Now, what is a turn going to be? So a turn can consist of a couple of things. So let's say it's my turn. I've got the sailing card out there already. I can do a couple things. I can go and draw from one of the draw decks. Now I can only draw from the number deck of the highest number card that's face up in front of me. So everybody starts the game off with a 1. So you're going to go and draw 1. So I can draw 1 card. That's 1 action. Next action could be to play a card in front of me. Let's say, so I'll do a sailing and then I got writing. Okay, so that would be my turn. If I drew a card and then played a card, turn's over. Second thing I can do, or third thing I can do, is activate the ability on this card. So this one says draw and meld a 1. Well, that basically means I'll draw 1 and then I'll meld it, which is to play a card in front of you. So let's say I activate that ability on my turn. I draw this card. That's a 1, and I'm going to meld it. Well, it's the same color as one of my cards, so I have to play it on top of it. Now you can only have, there's 5 different colors in the game, and you can only have 5 piles in front of you, one of each color. So anytime you have to meld a card of the same color, you just put it on top. Now sometimes these abilities will tell you to tuck a card, which in this case means I would have put it behind it. Sometimes it's going to tell you to splay a card. You can splay it right, or up, or left, and you can see it's going to reveal more of these symbols here. So it's a great idea. See, if you splay it left, you basically get one extra symbol. If you splay it right, you might get more than one symbol. You might get two, but in this case it's a flavor picture, so you don't. But if you splay it up, you have a chance of getting three. So it's very important to maintain a plethora and a plurality of multiple icons if you can. And I'll explain that here in a second. So if I had taken this action, you can see there's a little tiny crown next to it. Say draw and meld to one. Well, I've got two crowns in front of me, or excuse me, three crowns in front of me right now. So starting with the player to my left, they have the ability to copy what I did on my turn. So if I said draw and meld to one, then the player to my left could also do it. But he's got to have the same number of crowns or more than me, so he can draw and meld to one. Well, if anybody does that and shares that action with me, then I get to take a card for free, and it's based on the same rules as if you draw a card for an action. So I get to, in this case, I get to take a 1. So each other player that does it, and then I get to draw a card. Now, if they don't have enough crowns to meet that, then they can't share it. But it's really interesting, this mechanic, because in a lot of the Civ games, where the technology sort of bleeds across. I mean, you are competing, but there's a lot of symbiotic relationship between you and the other players, and this really kind of represents that nicely, where if they're advanced enough in this sort of archetypal icon, which means absolutely nothing, very abstract, but you can still see where they get to share. Now this red one says, I demand you transfer a card with a crown on it from your hand to my score pile if you do draw a 1. Now you can see this uses the little castle. Now if somebody has less than the number of castles I have face up, so see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. If they have 3 or less, they have to do this. Now if they have the equal amount or more, then they're not affected by it. So that's basically the two kinds of actions. There's sort of the nice action that everybody can share, and then you have these demand or more aggressive actions that you can kind of force people to do. So you can see you've got to try to maintain a nice balance of icons, and as well as getting cards out that you need, to do some of these actions here. Now notice that card set told me to put a card in my score pile. So if I had taken that card from somebody, then I would take it here and I'd put it under my score side. Now I've got a score side here and an achievement side. So as I build up scores here, one of the actions I can do is to take an achievement. And this is how you win the game. So for example, in a 2-player game, the first person to get 6 achievements will win. Now how do you take an achievement? Now achievements are the center little row of cards here, like I told you, the trophy cards. So if you look at this first one here, you can see it's the level 1 achievement, and it costs you 5 points in your score to achieve it. Now there's a couple things to keep in mind here. You have to have a face-up card equal to the level of the achievement. Everybody should have a level 1 card face-up. And you need at least this many points in your score pile. Now you don't spend the score, it stays there. And you can see the level 2 will cost you 10 points. So you need at least a level 2 face up in front of you to take this, and you've got to have 10 points. So this is one kind of a way to get achievements here, is to eat up some of these. So if you get 6 of these, then you'll win. Now there's these special achievements here, and you can get these through a variety of manners. Now each of these has a card with a specific action on it that you can take and just get the achievement. But they also have another way to get it. So if you look at this one here, claim this achievement immediately if you have 5 colors on your board and each is displayed either up or right. So that's another reason, so that everybody can get this. So the first person to get this, if they have 5 colors, that's all 5 colors, displayed up or right, boom, you got that achievement. And look at this one, claim this special achievement immediately if you have 3 or more icons of all 6 types. So all those icons, if you've got 3 of each of these, then boom, you get that achievement. Like this one, claim this achievement immediately if you have 5 top cards, that's all 5 face-up cards, each has a value of 8. Now that's all fine and dandy. You're going to be getting cards and laying them out and trying to get some scores and scoring those cards and drawing cards. But there are a lot of cards in here that will blow up your score pile, and they'll take cards out of your score pile and add them to their hand or add them directly to their score pile. Or there are cards that will remove face-up cards from you and you put it in their hand or in their score pile. So it's not a direct route. It's not the first person that's always going to get the score. I mean, they have the special achievements to do that as well. But there are a lot of cards here and you can kind of play with the sharing aspect to make you sort of skip up these technology levels. And they're in the level 9 and level 10. There's some auto win cards. And like in the level 9, you can see this one is Fission. And this is a great card. I got to use this one the other day, and like the entire table was just laughing hilariously. I played it because on the following turn of the next player, he had 20 light bulbs in front of him, and there's a card that says if you have 20 light bulbs, you automatically win. So he had that set up, but he was out of action, so he couldn't activate the action that would trigger the end of the game. So I had this, and I said, and demand if you draw 10, if it is red, remove all hands, boards, and score piles from the game, and then you basically reset everybody. So you basically nuke everybody. And then all the score piles, hands, everything's gone, and then people are starting over from the Dark Ages and the Prehistoric Age. So there's a lot of fun little interaction with the cards. Now you can see that's pretty chaotic. You got all this text, all this text, all this text. And some of it's thematic, some of it's questionable, but they're all unique. I don't even know how many unique cards are in there, but every single one of these cards is unique. Every single one of them. There's no duplicate cards in here. So the amount of swing that's available is immense. But the thing is everything is laid out in such a way that it's somewhat predictable. Because there's no way you're going to draw Fission in age 1 in the early part of the game. You know this is coming in age 9. So you do need to get to know the cards, because you need to know what's possible. So the first couple games you're going to be like, what the hell? I had no chance of winning this game. Or you're just going to destroy people. And you're not going to be paying attention to how many of these symbols you have up. Because if you look at the little strategy here, it shows you which ages these symbols are important. So the early part of the game, these little piddly castles, those are good. You can do some damage there early. But after age 3, it's a liability to have those. And then you can see age 4 through 10 is these little industrial symbols. And age 7 through 10 are those little clocks, sort of like information symbols. And then these ones are pretty important on, in all the ones. So it gives you some idea of what you need to watch out for. And in a 4-player game, there's going to be a lot of crap on the board here. So I prefer not to play it with 4. I actually prefer to play it with 2, and I probably actually prefer it with 3, because there's just enough variation going on that, the tit for tat is nice. I really enjoy it with 3, but with 2, I mean. With 3, there's enough going on. You can kind of play off, okay, well, I'm going to kind of share with Bill over here, because I know, Alan over here he's not going to be able to participate. He's kind of getting a lead. So me and him can kind of share a little bit and have sort of a little trade agreement. And then, because Alan over here has been pissing us off and blowing up our score piles and whatnot. So that is a really cool aspect. So one card I just want to kind of show you an example of, a little bit of a strategy here. So you can see this is a level 9 card. And it says you may tuck, remember that's put behind, any number of cards from your hand, draw and score a 1 for each card you tucked. Well, if you're this late in the game, the 1s, the 2s, and the 3s, and the 4s are probably eaten up and gone. So if it tells you to draw and score a card, or if you go to draw a card and you can't have it, let's say you had a 1 face up, then you go to draw 1, there's none there. You just automatically draw the 1 following it. So you draw 2. If there were no 2s, you draw 3. So at this point, it's basically telling you that you can score any number of cards. So if you can deplete these early ages of piles, you're going to push everything along. Somebody may have a nice engine running for a little bit, but if you can jump the age up, then you can start an engine. Maybe you're working on starting to get the clocks going and, to do some more advanced technology to skip them. Because you'll see that where somebody has a nice little combo going, and then you say, you know what? I'm sick of you, and I'm gonna do some little tricks here to push the age up, get some cards splayed out so that I am showing some of these more advanced symbols, and then go from there. It's totally abstract, but it surprisingly fits the theme. This, unlike some other card games, this actually feels like a Civilization game.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed the overview. It's a difficult game to overview because, like I said, all the cards are unique. So without describing all 200 cards or whatever it is, which would bore you to tears, it's difficult. It does seem chaotic, especially after your first play, and especially if you play with 4. However, some people like to compare this to Fluxx, which is, I don't know, I think it's insulting to the designer. I mean, not a huge deal, but anyway, it's not like Fluxx at all, ever, no. Because, like I said, the age cards, as you go up, the powers become more complex, and you can count on the icons starting to appear. Like there's little industrial icons that come around, like I think age 5, and then the little clock icons, which is sort of like the information age icons, start appearing. And it's not so much like a game where you just sit there and dig and hope to get you know race down the deck and grab a card, and then force people to do certain things. There's no role selection in this, which I it's refreshing, unbelievably. But a lot of the effects of the later ages are a lot of fun. Like I showed you that fission card that blows everything up, and not all of the actions definitely fit with the description. Like I think it wasn't like blacksmithing, but it was some card that sounded like that, and it didn't make sense what the action was compared to the name of the card. But most of them are pretty good that way, and so it's a lot of fun. It's a fun little game, and there's a lot of interaction. There's not it's not really like a screw your neighbor game though, because you've got your trading or sharing aspects of it and things like that. So there's a lot of depth in this game. Uh, Anyway, so thanks. Check this game out.